The end of December, and I've been working on the red violin for a couple of months, collecting materials, and I just wanted to give an update on where we've got to. I think I now have most of the materials that we're going to need. So, what I normally use for the top of the violin is spruce that I get from Italy, and what we're going to be using is redwood for our Sonoma County violin, and here's the redwood that gives the name to the violin, and it's what the county was built on initially. So I've got a really nice piece of really nice old growth redwood that I got from a local woodyard who specializes in redwood up in Windsor. So that's going to be our top. The back on most violins, classic violins, is maple, and this maple comes from Eastern Europe, Bosnian maple. Maple's like the main wood of the violin, so several parts are made out of it. So starting with the back, our substitute for this is going to be, I got this lovely plank of apple wood from a woodworker down in Roanoke Park, and this tree is would have been part of the apple industry in Sebastopol, Steve Wigfield donated this, and this is actually, I'm used to buying my wood in pre-sawn billets. They're smaller and easier to handle. This is how they send it to me from Europe. I'm not set up to be able to deal with something like that, so I went to some woodworking friends down in Petaluma, and they helped me out with resawing it. So this apple wood is going to be the back, and for the sides of the instrument, we make these very thin strips out of maple, and we've had them resawn here, so these are going to be the sides. And then the neck and scroll all comes out of one piece, and again normally maple, and again we're using the apple wood. Other wood we need, the ribs are held together with blocks at the corners, and for that I normally use that and the linings, which give a little extra thickness to the ribs on the edges. That wood is normally, I use a red willow, which I get again from Italy. It does grow here, but nobody seems to cut it, so I get it from Italy. Instead, we're going to be using box elder, which grows locally and provided by another woodworker. And we're also going to use box elder for the purfling, and the purfling is this decorative black and white striped strip that runs all the way around the back and the front of the instrument, and that's made up of 3 pieces of wood glued together, and do a strip, and then cut into narrow strips. For that I'm going to be using, instead of what's typically used is Swiss pear as a common one, or can't think of some, poplar is another one. Again, we're going to be using box elder for that because it's a nice white wood, about the right kind of density. The dyeing, the blacks of the wood are dyed, and normally we use a logwood, which comes from Brazil, I think, and that I found somebody who is a natural dye person, and she's found a fungi which she thinks is going to be able to dye the wood black for me. So I'm very excited about that. The other major wood parts on the instrument are the fittings, they're called, the fingerboard, the pegs, tailpiece, chin rest. The best substitute we found for that was manzanita. So we've got this lovely hard red wood. It's going to be kind of an odd colour. We may dye it with something, but the red violin is going to be, the redwood violin is going to be a very red violin. Most of this I can do myself, but the pegs, I don't know anything about wood turning. I found a local wood turner who's going to do those for me. Other materials are going to be the varnish, which goes on the outside of the instrument. That I've been collecting pine sap, and got this lovely soft, some of it soft, some of it hard, pine sap. It's very dirty at the moment. That is going to become varnish, and also, if I can do it, I'm going to extract turpentine from that, which is the solvent for the varnish. Colouring the varnish, some of that will come from the colour of the varnish itself, but we can also tint it somewhat, and I've been looking into using grape skins because I wanted to include the grape industry. So far I've only managed to make a purple, and I'm a little worried that well, it's not going to be the primary colour. I think it will be a useful colour for toning down the yellow of the varnish, but it won't be the primary colouring agent. And again, I got some leads on that. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be, but got some options. The other part of varnish is oil, and we've collected walnuts, and I'm going to be trying to extract the oil from the nuts to make walnut oil, which is a drying oil, and that gets mixed into the varnish, and it makes a varnish that's tougher and will dry as well. And this is the latest material that I've acquired. Very excited to find this. This is sheep's fleece, and if anyone can guess what I'm going to be using this for, contact me and I will send you a prize. And the final and most important and trickiest thing so far, but the ingredient I couldn't start without, has been the glue, which holds everything together. And I spent well over a month trying to figure out how to make glue. I've made some tendon glue out of tendons from locally raised cows, Sonoma County cows, and processed by my local butcher here, Soko Meats. And we successfully made glue. I'm very relieved about that because I wasn't sure it was going to be possible. So that's it, the final ingredient, and I'm ready to start putting the violin together, starting on Monday. So come on back and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can follow the story.